How you doing, sir?
Driver's license, please.
Yes, sir.
Any firearms in the car?
No, sir. No, sir. Just a Byrna.
A Byrna?
Yes, sir.
I love Byrna. Look, I got one too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's the LE version, right?
Well, yes, it is. What are you carrying?
Oh, mine's the CL.
Oh, the new one.
Yes, sir. You want to see it?
Put your hands on the steering wheel. What the hell are you thinking, boy?
Byrna, the famous brand and preferred less lethal option for over 300 law enforcement agencies and departments in the US and around the world, but also one of the top selling CO2 powered self-defense launchers brands in the US, just recently came out with its most compact concealable version, the Byrna CL, which of course stands for Compact Launcher. And today, my friends, we'll be testing its effectiveness thoroughly and in the typical Airgun Alley style. All right, so 10 shots to this very hard Mexican coconut. We hit the same spot pretty much over and over again, which then kind of cracked this very hard outer shell. But yes, it did not do the usual splitting or cracking all the way open like we usually see with many types of launchers. Nevertheless, again, going through this very, very hard coconut skin is definitely remarkable. I can tell you right off the bat by gripping it that this thing is a lot friendlier for people with smaller hands than many launchers out there. It's actually a perfect fit for my wife, for example. This next test will be a first for this channel and definitely won't be the last. In fact, I plan to adopt it on most of my future videos. So I hereby bought a 10-pound block of clay. And I also bought this little tiny hoodie, you know, to give it some decency. 10 pounds of clay right here. A lot of plastic. Now, mind you, this is tiny, yet the thickness is of a typical normal hoodie. And voila! So we have two of the balls that seem to be stuck into the fabric and thus into the clay. This one right here actually made a hole in the fabric. if you can see. Actually, let me bring you closer. So let's indeed inspect. Okay, so we're gonna pop out these right here. There we go. Oh, look at that, stayed in there. So this right here, my friends, is the clay. One ball, two balls are nicely stuck in it. I guess the penetration is exactly the kind of the diameter of the ball. It did not go too far in. Nevertheless, we see some good, definitely some good denting, if you will, in the clay. And of course, as we said, there has been also some complete penetration in the jacket itself. Up next, hard surface penetration test with these 2 1/4-inch Baltic birch plywood boards. And we'll be shooting the plywood from 20 feet. Now, for those of you who will bring forward the argument of why don't you just get a real gun? Well, in all honesty, I'm sick and tired of repeating the same stuff over and over again. I just invite you to either just go watch one of my older videos on this type of less lethal launcher, or just go on the Byrna website where they cover all this very thoroughly. That said, you've also seen so-called less lethal launchers on this channel that have gone through at least 2 of these 1/4-inch plywood boards. Some have even gone through a 1/2-inch plywood board. Now, some of us would argue that those are not entirely less lethal and that they can be quite damaging. While the Byrna here, this is the pure definition of less lethal, aka, you know, the punch hard, kind of hurt your target enough to stop it without actually producing deadly damage or force. All that to say is that, as you see, we have not penetrated not even the first 1/4-inch plywood board. However, as you see, we did make enough damage for it to kind of, the energy spilled over to the other side. So on the front side, all we see is denting, no complete penetration. But again, we see how these balls did indeed go and crack the back of this 1/4-inch plywood board. So again, not as powerful as a lot of the things we see. Nevertheless, I believe that this is exactly the result that Byrna is looking for. Now, a lot of you regularly ask, so I'm just going to repeat Byrna's famous mantra. Byrnas are legal in all 50 states and they ship straight to your door. This model in particular doesn't shoot any pepper balls or chemical projectiles for now. So it is perfectly legal also in states like California, for example, that bans pepper balls. As always, Byrna is very generous with its initial kit and gives you everything you need to get started straight out of the box, including an extra magazine, which of course adds on to the one already into the gun. They give you 2 of these 8-gram CO2 cartridges and 3 tubes of ammo. I was reading somewhere on their website that at the moment they're also giving away these rubber grip sleeves with every purchase, but don't quote me on that. They sent me this one with this orange one already on it, and I have to say, it really looks great on this all black CL. So it was nearly exactly 2 years ago when I brought you guys the LE version as it launched. LE stands for law enforcement. This one was marked as the most powerful Byrna yet, and also the largest. Well, now we have the most compact version yet. And finally, it's all in black. Thank you so much, Byrna, for that. So will we put the LE and the CL against each other? Of course we will, but not today, not in this video. All right, a quick look at the damage on the watermelon. But first, so, nice entries on the front side, got him right in the eye a few times. Pretty mushy on this spot right here, wherever we hit it. Nevertheless, nothing seems to have penetrated to the other side. So let's have a quick look if we can see anything inside by splitting this watermelon in half. Okay, so some of the lower hitting ones went right about halfway into the watermelon. Actually, you know what? I'm actually finding several way back here on the back side. So a lot of them did travel quite deep into the watermelon, almost making it to the backside. Guys, I just created a brand new channel which is called Away from the Alley. It's a side channel to this one, if you will. So if you're interested, I'll leave the link down in the description and also in the pinned comment. Please go check it out if you feel like it, and also feel free to subscribe as well. And also a huge thank you to the channel's members. Guys, as always, I feel like the words thank you are just not enough for such committed and tangible support. Just know that it is literally priceless and incredibly appreciated. So, what else is new with this Byrna CL? Well, the otherwise famously and exclusively 68 caliber launcher maker just changed things up and came up with an all-new caliber of its own, the 61 caliber. A great move that not only gives them more control, at least initially, over the ammo production and distribution, but mainly and obviously is a logistical solution that helps make this launcher much more compact while maintaining a respectable caliber. This pistol doesn't sport any Picatinny rail on the top for any type of optics, but it does sport a short rail right here under the barrel for a laser or a torch. But anyway, let's test these optic fiber fixed sights right here from around 15 or 20 feet. As always, 3 to the body and 2 to the head. All right, let's check out the how-tos of this launcher. First of all, this is a 5 shooter, so the magazine holds 5 balls. This gun only shoots round projectiles. It does not shoot D-shaped or any type of other form or shape. Again, purely spheric balls, which you load this way. And that you stick in the gun. Once you do that, you get this little indicator right here, which tells you that the gun is loaded. And now to the CO2. A particular thing about this gun is that it actually uses 8-gram CO2 cartridges, which are these cute little mini CO2 cartridges. Now, the way we insert them into the gun, they do not go like many in the into the handle of the gun. Instead, the CO2 compartment is right underneath the muzzle. Now, how do we open it? Well, we have the usual Byrna little tool, which is right here at the bottom of the magazine. And we just unscrew it a couple times with that. And then we can actually finish it off with our finger, very simply. Once we opened the CO2 compartment, we get our CO2 cartridge and we stick it in. Now, we don't just stick it in and leave it in there. We actually have to push it until we hear a click. I don't know if you heard it, but I heard it. There was a click. And so you click it in there and then you close the compartment, again, using your fingers or your hands until as tight as you can go. Then again, you use your little tool right here and you give it about 1/4 of a tight right there, not too much, and your CO2 is pierced, and your CO2 is inserted. Excuse me, it's not pierced yet. Now, in order to pierce it, first of all, now that the gun is loaded with ammo and CO2, you can store it away for however long it needs to be stored. The CO2 will remain intact, sealed inside of its CO2 cartridge. At the moment of need, this gun has 2 systems for it to be ready to shoot. The first one is you just pull out and shoot. Pull the trigger all the way. What this will do is pierce the CO2 cartridge and shoot the first projectile at the same time. Or you can do a half, you pull the trigger only halfway, that just pierces the CO2 cartridge but does not shoot the first shot. And then after you pierce the cartridge, you start shooting, and that will give you full power, 5 full power shots. Now, unlike other Byrna models, this one right here has no safety switch. But check out Alternative Arms Self-Defense, as they just designed a very cool and simple trigger guard / clip that looks like something you may want to have.
The Byrna CL trigger guard holster. Check that out, you can hear it. Snaps in, other side. Holds really well, peels back all the way. Easy to fit in, and even easier to take out.
Now, these Byrna 8-gram CO2 cartridge box comes with 10 cartridges. However, 9 of them are CO2, while 1 of them is oil. Obviously, as you know, it's always good to put some silicone oil or gun lube into the gun, especially in the CO2 compartment, given that CO2 freezes the seals and obviously after a while just destroys them. So this is a very good way to lubrifying them. Now, to do that, what Byrna says right at the beginning, right off the bat, when you get the gun, shoot 30 shots, 30 rounds with a normal CO2, 8-gram CO2 cartridge. And after those 30 rounds, insert the oil one and shoot it up a bit with this one, which will grease up your gun. Now, that is again as soon as you get it, after the first 30 shots. After that, Byrna says that every 9 CO2 cartridges that you use, every 9 of them that you shoot, then you stick the one oil one to lube your gun. I hope that just made sense. All right, number lovers, let's do this. It's time to put our launcher through the chronograph and measure the speed of the projectiles in feet per second, after which we will calculate the joules energy. And as always, on the bottom left of the screen of the chronograph, you also see the foot-pound energy. I'm also going to do a shot count, meaning I'm going to shoot all 5 shots from one magazine, and they're going to switch it to another magazine and so on, and until we deplete the CO2 cartridge and see how many shots we get again out of one single CO2 cartridge. We will be shooting, obviously, its ammo that comes with. These weigh 2.1 grams, which is exactly 32.4 grain. And lastly, the CO2 hasn't been pierced yet. As you know, as we said earlier, you can pierce it either by kind of pulling the trigger halfway, or just by pulling the trigger all the way, which automatically shoots the first round while it also pierces the CO2 cartridge. Now, in theory, that's going to be a much weaker round because, again, it's doing all that. It's piercing the CO2 while it's also shooting, and then the following rounds should be full powered. So again, let's see what our chronograph tells us about the power of this gun. "23 rounds.